Good morning. As I talk to you now, we're getting ready for worship this weekend. But this is going to be our last weekend outside and doing some of the things we've been doing. We are beginning the journey back into the sanctuary for worship. If you haven't seen the news yet, the Governor Parson has moved us into phase 2 of the reopening plan, and that's going to take effect on Tuesday. And with that come a number of different changes that we're going to be able to be a part of. And one of those is that starting on Sunday, June 21st, we will be back in the sanctuary for not regular worship. We're still going to be doing some things differently, but we'll be back inside for worship after that. We are still going to have 2 in-person services on Sunday morning at 9 and at 10:30, and we will continue to do so for a while just to let things finally kind of get themselves under control and see how things go. So we'll have those two services, and we will continue with the online service. All of this at least through the end of July, and we'll kind of reevaluate as we go through the month of July just to see how things are going. We're going to take all of this one step at a time. The other piece that's going to have an impact on us is that we're going to start small groups in Sunday school back up for those classes and groups and leaders that feel comfortable in doing so. All of this is going to be done, though, working to maintain a couple of key things. One is that we will continue to social distance, which is why we're going to continue to have 2 services. And for any small groups that we have, they'll need to be in places where we can sit appropriately, which means there may be some juggling around of rooms, and that's okay. We can get that worked out so that we can maintain that good distance from each other. And I'm going to ask that during worship and during small groups that we continue to wear masks, just for the safety of those who are around us, especially as we are indoors and when we look around the nation and still see that, and even the state of Missouri, and see that case numbers are still rising. That's just a good practice for the time being, that we continue to do some of those things. But we are taking another step forward in kind of returning or coming back to what's going to be our new normal. And so I am looking forward to how that is going to take shape and how that's going to work as we make things happen. So expect to see a few more announcements about that as we go. A couple of other things to note going on this week. Monday afternoon from 3 to 5, the food pantry will be open. If you know folks that can benefit from that, do send them down our direction, and we can do what we can to help them out. On Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock, if you want to join us for a time of prayer, we will be back on Facebook Live. Just for a time of prayer. It doesn't go any more than about 10 minutes, but is a time to settle, to reflect, and to have a conversation with God. And so I invite you to join with us then. As we gather for worship this morning, I invite you to join with me in a word of prayer. Let us pray. Most gracious and loving God, we give you thanks as we gather today in this way for worship. We ask that you open our hearts and open our minds, that we receive your word, that we know your presence, and that we know that wherever we are and whatever we face, that you go with us. Lord, help us to see and to know your peace and your love through all that we are and all that we do. All this we lift up in your Son's most holy and precious name. Amen. And will you join with us now in our first song this morning?